Hello friends, welcome back to the FIRL channel, your wormhole from TradFi to DeFi. Now, we're going to talk about TradFi today, and we're going to bash LUNO. No, just kidding. We're going to talk about something that has been very controversial, at least in the crypto community, about the travel rule that just came into effect. As usual, nothing of what we say in this video should be taken as financial advice. If you actually need financial advice, please speak to a pro. So as a disclaimer, we have no coins at all in LUNO. Nah, just joking. There's still some inside, if you know,
I have
you know.
$4 in it, bro.
If you know, you know. So anyway, Brad, why in the world is this travel rule? Who's traveling?
Travel rule is a fancy name, or not really a fancy name, but I suppose a name that, try to make it simple, right? But essentially, if you're a user of LUNO, when you send a Bitcoin or you receive Bitcoin from LUNO, in and out of LUNO, right, you now need to declare the wallet or who you're sending it to. In a sense, let's say if I'm sending it to your MetaMask, for example, I need to label, hey, this guy is called MJ Gun, and not too clear yet what kind of details they want. Do they want your IC? Do they want your place of residence? And similarly, if I receive Ethereum from a MetaMask wallet, I also need to fill in the details of who this person is, where they're from, or I suppose to even an extent what their intentions are to send this money. So a lot of details required these days to send and receive crypto in and out of LUNO.
So one of the thing about LUNO is whether you like it or not, it is sort of the springboard, right, for most crypto investors in Malaysia and abroad.
But you and I even, right, to begin with.
Everyone starts with LUNO, right, because of its simplicity. And then at that point in time, one of the good things about LUNO was that the alternative was Binance.
Yeah.
And then Binance had a very complicated trading screen, right? And LUNO created like a light, and I'm not sure if the word is correct, but there's a light and a heavy version. So that made it simple for people to buy, although at a higher fee, of course. But it's near and dear to us Malaysians. I'm not sure if there are already millions of people on it. Certainly a few 100,000 already, I would imagine. And why would this be important for Malaysians to know about and hear about?
Well, according to a statement released by LUNO, we put the blog post and the link down below, right? A lot of the reason why we're doing this or why LUNO is doing this is because they are following the FATF rule, or at least following regulations by the FATF, which stands for the Financial Action Task Force or something like that. The main reason for it is because of the fear of crypto being used for money laundering or for acts of terrorism. So the main reason for this, why you as Malaysians should be concerned or at least should know about why this is happening is because if crypto is actually progressing in the right direction, that means that governments now want to kind of step in to kind of regulate it or have at least a grasp on it. Right. And whether or not this is a step towards the right direction or the wrong direction, the DeFi degens will have their own thoughts on it. The regular user will actually be, I suppose, very nonchalant about it because they probably just store their crypto in LUNO. But it is happening because of this main reason, to prevent money laundering and terrorism.
Right. And so I'm sure there's a lot of AMLA and Bank Negara involved in all this.
Correct.
Where do you sit? I mean, there's the normal guys, there's the degens. Is this overall step in the right direction or not?
So one thing I do want to add is, according to a statement by our insider in LUNO, so I was chatting with him, or her, cannot dox his gender, oh shit, can I talk her gender, is that whenever you send something in and out and you declare the person who you're sending it to, right, all this information is protected or it's kept protected by PDPA, so which means that no one can actually come in and extract the data except for LUNO. LUNO kind of holds that data of who you're sending it to. Unless a legal proceeding requires you to kind of review that data. So despite me, let's say I'm sending money to your Ethereum MetaMask, I'm declaring that it's to you or from you, that data is very much secret inside LUNO. Unless, of course, like I get jailed or I get called to court for some reason. So I think it's not so much of a big deal unless it's a crazy amount of money. But whether or not this is good or bad, let me give you an experience of mine personally in July last year. So when Binance got banned last year in July, right, was also when I started delving deeper into DeFi. And I believe the reason because I believe that hey, if Binance is going to get banned, I don't want to sell all of my kind of more exotic altcoins and then stay on centralized exchange like LUNO, which only has like 4 or 5 options back then.
Right.
So I created
Still the same,
various
actually.
hot wallets, and I ultimately went deeper into the rabbit hole and then discovered DeFi, discovered farming, discovered staking, and a lot of other stuff. And honestly, it has been an eye-opening experience. But I could also see myself going down the other route back then, where I'm thinking like, oh, this is such a hassle to now create multiple different wallets, have my own seed phrase, and then just stick to some of these mainstream tool coins. So I would say I think it's too early yet to say whether it's a good or bad thing. It might spur people to explore DeFi more, or it might just do the opposite. What do you think?
One of the interesting thing about crypto, and it's kind of like, I would say, a contradiction, is that one big thing about crypto is all about privacy. It's all about anonymity.
Yeah.
It's all about being undoxed, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Profile picture is like a JPEG.
Yet, here's the interesting thing. Yet, one of the reasons Bitcoin was created is to create transparency, right? The reason it got created in 2008, September, I believe, is around the same time where the financial crisis happened. Now, this crisis happened as a result of transparency issues, right? No one knows what was going on. A lot of hanky-panky was going on. So I see this as some sort of a contradiction for crypto to solve, because which then do you want to prioritize? Privacy or transparency? And the beauty of blockchain is that it's exactly transparent. So what this step by LUNO is, I can foresee, it's not going to be reversed, very unlikely, right? Because once AMLA is involved, they're not going to reverse, right? You don't deregulate this sort of regulations. And what I can foresee now is that once people in LUNO or the regulators realize, they probably already realize, the power of analyzing on-chain analytics, now they're going to start putting a name to those analytics, to those on-chain data.
Yeah.
And I can foresee if they can create a software to track your specific wallet and things starts moving around without their approval, then they might flag you already. So it's an instance where blockchain can be used to enhance regulation, which is the irony, right? In fact, we were talking about a hack a few weeks back. Happened, why? Because regulators look at on-chain data. So that's in the early days, and today it's moving in that direction. So what do I think, is this a good move or not? I believe that in the first 10 to 15 years of crypto will be the adoption by the pioneers, the risk takers, the explorers, right? The explorers. In a way, you and I and our team are like explorers, right? We like all these interesting things. But to put it short, to pump our bags, right?
Yeah.
We need the non-explorers to come in.
Exactly.
Right?
You big money to come in.
Think of it this way, if you're a pirate, right, and if you go out and steal treasure and all that,
okay,
right, and you come back to land, and presumably the treasure is worth a lot. Why is it worth a lot? Because someone on land is willing to buy it for a lot.
Okay, good analogy.
And these guys are not the ones who would build the boat and, ride the stormy seas and fight other pirates to do it, right? So what I'm trying to say, for those of you who don't understand my story, is that I think, and this may be unpopular with the degens, and I would consider somewhat myself as a degen also, is that this will actually help in the long run, because this will give comfort.
Yeah.
When the government can show many instances of catching crypto thieves, and they are crypto thieves, I mean literally, you've got a story, there's a Netflix series about all this, then it gives confidence to the public, and and whether or not the confidence is legitimate is a separate question.
Yeah.
But if the government can give the confidence, then only up.
Yeah,
right?
man. It is I think ultimately, if you take a step back and look at it from a 10,000-foot view, it is a step towards the right direction. Because the FedApp regulates banks. And the fact that they're recognizing crypto as something that needs this form of regulation and somewhat of a control, I think it's them accepting the fact that crypto is here to stay. Crypto is not so much like what Jamie Dimon or JP Morgan said just 4 or 5 years ago. Like, it's not like a Ponzi. It's not Warren Buffett's, rat poison, right? I suppose to end this video, I just want to ask anyone who's watching, what do you think of this travel rule established by LUNO? What would you do as a LUNO user if you are one? Would you stay in LUNO? Would you now explore other options? Yeah, tell us what you think. Leave it in the comment section down below.
Alright, see you guys in the next video. Disclaimer, we have no tokens in LUNO.
I have 3 ringgit in LUNO, bro.